I have a big opinion about something that I watched this week. I watched Clerks III, and it's something that I've been looking forward to, how dare you, for about 15 years.
Why do you keep giving that man money?
Well, let me explain. So, Clerks III obviously is the third installment. It's the third and final installment in Kevin Smith's Clerks trilogy. The first one was released in 95, followed by Clerks 2 Clerks, I should say, being as we're in England, but Clerks for argument's sake, in 2006. I think it's the seventh film in the View Askew universe, which is basically the Link sort of cinematic universe. Basically every film...
The original cinematic universe.
Yeah, exactly. The Smithiverse. Basically, it's all the films that Jay and Silent Bob are in. It stars Brian O'Halloran and Jeff Anderson once again as Dante Hicks and Randall Graves, and they're just joined by the usual Kevin Smith brigade, basically. But
so they got him back, though, because he said he'd retired him who played Randall, didn't he?
Yeah, and that was...
I bet they've paid him a pretty penny.
Well, I mean, possibly. I know a lot of the actors came back after Kevin Smith did have his heart attack.
But
I think there's also been several rewrites of the script of Clerks 3 as well. I think this is like the third iteration of a possible film, and obviously this maybe is the one that struck a chord. So this one, and if you know anything about Kevin Smith, you'll recognise some things here. So the synopsis reads: after suffering a massive heart attack, Randall enlists friends and fellow clerks Dante, Elias, Jay and Silent Bob to help him make a movie about his life at Quick Stop. It's back in the Quick Stop, guys. It's not at movies this year.
Is Elias the guy, the one ring to rule them all? Is that him? That is a fucking great... That's a great joke. And I like Clerks 1 and 2.
They've got him up in this one as well, and it's just absolutely... I just love it.
I liked him. He could know about the sex goblin or something like
Pillow Pants.
Pillow Pants, that's it. That was fuck. I hadn't seen that film in about 15 years.
Well, please watch it again, because I absolutely loved this film. I love Clerks 3. I know Kevin Smith is not for everyone. I know not everyone's a fan. That's fine. But
just a reminder, the director of Tusk.
Exactly. He's got PTSD still. But for me, I would put this straight into his top 3 films. I don't want to put it above the original.
All of them being Clerks.
Well, no, I wouldn't put Clerks 2 in his top 3. So I wouldn't put it above the original Clerks, but I think Dogma's probably looking a little bit worried.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I like Dogma.
Dogma's fucking great.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure how much it'll appeal to people that aren't already a fan of Kevin Smith or haven't at least kind of had a passing enjoyment of the previous couple of films. The whole thing is basically like Easter Egg, the movie. But Kevin Smith, he really does know his audience. Like, he knows that he has a following of loyal fans, and he plays directly to them, and I don't think he really particularly cares about appealing to a mass audience anymore. It almost kind of feels like it's a family affair, like the fans are involved just as
It shows that's true, because he never releases his films on big things now, does he? He just releases them in small doses, and he definitely releases to the fans, and all the fans with their bongs.
Me.
Bong. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that the fans are just as instrumental in this film being made as the crew. Like, there's a couple of kind of a fourth wall breaking wink to the camera wouldn't be out of place with all these Easter eggs and everything. And
isn't there one specifically in the trailer because they're talking about those the filming Clerks, and it's talking about, we're going to put an alternative ending in where a guy comes in and shoots Dante. But why? What if you want to do a sequel? Oh, I'm not going to do a sequel. I'm not a hack. And then it just cuts to Silent Bob going, hey!
Exactly.
Pointing at the camera.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I mean, talking about sort of knowing his audience. So the film opens with Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. So
what the fuck?
If any 30-something-year-old nerd doesn't get pumped over that, then just what are you doing? But the story itself, it does something a little bit interesting, and again, it's very meta. So during Randall filming his movie, they actually do go back and recreate almost perfectly, including being in black and white, the scenes from the original Clerks movie. And I think if you watch the new one, you'll probably go back to the original and watch it in a slightly different way.
Even the scene where the woman fucks a corpse.
That part is not included.
I didn't think so.
Actually, sort of mentioning that, there was there's things addressed in the new film regarding the original that by today's standards would be slightly problematic. And those things are actually, and those things are actually addressed in the new film in quite a funny way.
Some of the words, especially the slurs.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of self-aware in the way they did the name Tolkien in South Park, if that makes any sense to you.
Yeah,
it kind of turns it around on you. It's like, well, if that's what you thought, then you're the arsehole here. But yeah, the humor it's kind of noticeably less juvenile, I'd say, certainly than Clerks II was. Don't get me wrong, like Jay and Silent Bob are in it, so you do get your run-of-the-mill dick and weed jokes, but it's
$50, little man, put that shit in my hand.
See, you're going to see it.
Oh God!
But yeah,
if it's free, I'll see it.
It's not. It's $9.99 to rent.
Nope.
But the more kind of cringe side of the dick and fart jokes are certainly a lot more toned down. But that's not really the point of the film. I genuinely think that Kevin Smith set out to write something that actually was like personal and heartfelt to him. And as I said before, like certainly if you know anything about him, that you'll know that he himself had a massive heart attack before a show, I think about 5 years ago.
Didn't he officially die or something?
I don't think so, but the type of heart attack he had is called a widowmaker, because men that suffer this particular type of heart attack...
They fucking die.
They just die. They have something like a 10-20% chance of survival. And I remember him talking about it actually on his podcast just a couple of weeks after it happened. And he mentioned how he actually never had any of the sort of classic symptoms of a heart attack. For example, he never felt any pain. He just kind of couldn't catch his breath. And both of these things are mentioned in the film. So when Randall's having his heart attack, he mentions he doesn't have any pain. He just, there's no point in being there. He just can't catch his breath.
Didn't he really get into shape as well?
Kevin Smith did, yeah. Arguably not the healthiest way of doing it, because he does
went extreme vegan, didn't he?
Extremely vegan, and he does these 2-week complete fasts as well. So
there's a lot of people doing that in Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously worked for him, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, certainly without a doctor's approval.
No, definitely not.
But I remember him saying on the podcast that it was he was high at the time when he had this heart attack, and the doctor said to him,
Surprise.
"This is what's going to keep you alive. It's going to keep you calm." So yeah,
does this mean that's your excuse to smoke more pot?
Exactly, it saves me from a heart attack.
Fair enough.
But yeah, no, I mean,
you, sweetheart.
It causes and prevents the heart attack. But yeah, no, just to finish off, it does carry, just to be warned, it carries a moderate to severe mascara warning, especially if you've ever worked with one of your best friends. There's also, and it seems like a lot of people have missed this, but there's a mid-credits note from Kevin Smith that was originally supposed to be in the film, and it's quite a nice kind of poignant thing for him to say, but he felt like the final scene was so nice without it. He just put it in the credits. But it's worth listening to. And if you've ever worked in retail, he mentions that something that, I mean, certainly for me, looking back at my days of working in Virgin Megastore, it really rings true. And if you're feeling a bit down because you work in retail, just have a listen to what he has to say.
Don't want to start fucking crying, mate.
But yeah, no, really good. Really, really good. I loved it.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd heard that it's one for the fans.
Yeah.
It's basically anyone who's a fan of his has been saying how much they really enjoyed it, and everyone else who's ambivalent or not that bothered are kind of like, yeah, it's fine. So
yeah.
The original Clerks is a fucking masterpiece on that budget.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's cinematic.
Yeah, it's good.
It's gold, mate. It's absolute gold. And it's just all been downhill from there for me. Apart from Dogma, which is the black sheep in there, because Dogma's sensational play on the on the church, isn't it?
Yeah.
Got panned though, didn't it, when it came out?
I don't care. It's still a sensational film.
That's the one.
No, I'm just saying no one liked it, and then it's become a bit more of a cult hit.
Oh, all Kevin Smith films are like culty, but I mean, Kevin Smith himself, like, because obviously it's film to do with Christianity. There were a bunch of protesters protesting a showing at one of the premieres, and he went out with them with a sign up. He went out there with a sign up and protested his own film.
Catholicism now, or whatever it is.
Yeah.